The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development and the South African Banking Risk Information Centre are taking steps to fight financial crimes and corruption in the country. The memorandum of understanding that was signed by these partners, of course, these entities, aims to combat these pervasive issues and, of course, to look at the issues around cybercrimes, among others. Let's explore how this will begin also to mitigate the financial and cybercrime risks. We have Advocate Doctor Mashabane, Justice and Constitutional Development Director General, who's joining us live now. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Advocate, I mean, this partnership is quite significant and is also expected to enhance the skills as well as the capabilities of legal professionals in efforts to fight cybercrimes as well as financial misconduct. Tell us more.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Today we indeed signed a historic memorandum of understanding with SABC. And the main purpose really is to work together to build capacity in the criminal justice system through the recently relaunched Bridget Mabandla Justice College. In our efforts, as you know, we are the custodian of the Cybercrimes Act, and through the work that we do on international criminal cooperation with other countries, we have observed over the past 5 years an increase in crimes that are committed in cyberspace. So as technology advances, you will have realized that crimes have moved to the cyberspace, both banking, financial, and cyber crimes in general, but including corruption. So the purpose of this MOU is to really have SABC work with government, particularly the Department of Justice, and through the Justice College to build capacity for the law enforcement agencies in the criminal justice system.
And you talk about, of course, cybercrimes and how criminals in some of these instances, want to be a step ahead most of the time when it comes to these particular crimes. So this issue of capacitating then the legal fraternity in order to be able to deal effectively with these crimes as well as the SAPS and all of that, how does it begin then to ensure that at a practical level we see not only investigations, but we also see convictions?
Look, that's why the starting point, what attracted us more to SABC is the capabilities that they have, particularly part of the capacity building mandate that they have. That technology has been advancing, and we have the Cybercrimes Act in place that just came into operation 2 to 3 years ago. But the reality of the matter is that we have the same detectives, we have the same prosecutors, we have the same judicial officers who may not necessarily have been exposed to training and understanding the nature of crimes that are happening in the cyberspace. So the starting point really will be to make sure that in that value chain of the criminal justice system, particularly starting from the investigation part and the prosecution part, we run programs through the Justice College that will capacitate and make sure that the actors in the criminal justice system have an appreciation of the elements of the cyber crimes, financial crimes and banking crimes in order to make sure that you have successful investigation, you can mount a successful prosecution, but also then you need a bench that broadly understand these new emerging crimes because of technological advances.
And I suppose another layer then to the conversation also now brings members of the public and I suppose makes them aware of these crimes and how things are beginning to advance at that particular level as well when it comes to technology and cybercrimes.
Indeed, that's a big part. In fact, the success of the whole enterprise will primarily and largely depend on the level of awareness is out there in public. I mean, as much as we enjoy the benefits and the spin-offs of technological advancement, we're in the 4th industrial revolution, and indeed technology plays a critical role in economic, social, cultural, and political, and financial life in general. But it comes with major risk, and members of the public, generally South Africans, have to have that appreciation that there are certain measures that they need to personally put in place at individual levels, because law enforcement agencies will not necessarily be able to cope with all the challenges and the crimes that are committed in the cyberspace. So indeed, awareness raising and advocacy is a key part of this program to make sure that beyond government, members of the public as well, South Africans in general, need to be aware. Actually, they are the front line in fighting cyber crimes by making sure that they have the necessary knowledge and understanding of what needs to be done to minimize the risk You can't completely eliminate the risk associated with cyber offenses and crimes, but you can eliminate it through knowledge and awareness.
And I suppose then, listening to what you're saying, there's going to be a need for resources also to be put in this particular fight, and not only resources in terms of training, but resources possibly in terms of personnel as well, so you ensure that you do have enough of the personnel who are also being able to get involved here.
Indeed, personnel is very critical, resources in general, and I think that's why generally the president has made a call for private sector to work with government. And I think this MOU is a practical expression of government's general commitment to work with the private sector, out of a realization that we cannot solve the problems of this nation as government on our own, but we need a private sector. But secondly, I think the type of leadership of government officials in the criminal justice system that will bring into the system need to be empowered and be capacitated as a group that will really have to appreciate these challenges. It's a global phenomenon. It's not only us facing it; it's a general challenge in the continent and in the sub-region. And indeed, unfortunately, resources will be required. They are not available. But we hope that working together with the private sector, we can, pull together the resources that are available. Even in terms of capability, you will require a lot of financial muscles to get your latest technological, capabilities in order to deal with this cyberspace malfeasance and crimes.
Yeah, as you say, all these layers are quite important, including the buy-in from the public and awareness on that front as well. But let's then see how the space develops. As you say, training is now going to be critical, capacitation is going to be critical, and we'll continue then to monitor what happens in that regard. But thank you so much for getting us started.
Thank you very much,
Thank you. And that was Advocate Dr. Mashabane, the Justice and Constitutional Development Director General, and we're talking about this memorandum of understanding that has been signed to try and fight cyber crimes. And this, of course, has been a big headache. You think about face recognition sometimes on our phones, and that how much of a risk that may pose. So certainly we'll continue to watch this one for you.